Hi guys, welcome to another classic movie review. Today we'll be taking it back to 1994 with Pulp Fiction.
The movie stars John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, Uma Thurman, Bruce Willis, and Harvey Keitel.
So this Quinten Tarantino film joins the lives of various characters, two mobster hitmen, a mobster boss and his wife, a boxer, and a pair of Bonnie and Clyde robbers that all intertwine in this film with four stories coming into one. It's a story about violence and redemption, and it was one of the blockbusters of the 90s. So, Cameron, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, I'll start us off. First thing I have to say, I've never seen this movie. I come in with obviously hearing mostly hype around this movie being a masterpiece, amazing, but really, no one really dives in to tell you sort of the story. So I went in and I was very shocked and surprised of where this movie takes you. And you know what? It lives up to the hype, 100%. I love this film. Loved it. Everything about it, the quirkiness, the obscureness, everything. The writing was really well done. The acting, just the scenes as well, the setting, everything just sort of, and how it all comes together and, really, it does live up to the hype. But I have to say, like, when people talk about this movie, they really don't talk about, like, in-depth the story. Like, I've never heard about the story. Like, honestly. A lot of people talk about this movie and, they never give anything, little inklings away about the movie and stuff. Like, Bruce Willis's character, I've never heard, like, in-depth part of his story in the movie. It's just, I know he's in the movie. That's about as far as it goes. Like, you hear the names of the actors, but they never say what sort of happens, which is a great thing, because someone like me didn't watch the movie at all, and then watching it for the first time, I get to actually enjoy the movie for what it is without it being spoiled, or I get an inkling of what's going on. It's like fresh, which I think it's very rare for an old movie like that. Like most things, sort of the gist of the story, or, you know what I'm saying? Freaking fantastic movie. I loved it. And I don't really have any like negatives towards it. I don't think I can really downplay on the movie. Like, honestly, I loved it. John?
So, one of the all-time great Tarantino films. I really enjoyed this one, coming off Reservoir Dogs. Harvey Keitel's in that, and that's a real gritty and closed-off film. It expands on the kind of idea of the mundane aspect of the conversations and the talking aspect of Reservoir Dogs, and expands it into a bigger setting. So the stories are simple stories that have been done in other films. If you think about it, the boxer throwing the fight, or the mobster hitman going to shoot up the place. I mean, you see them in a lot of films, but it's the Sopranos style dialogue and this was before the Sopranos, that is really done quite well. So when they're even in the start scene driving in the car and they're talking about what Vince saw different in Amsterdam and over Europe with the quarter pounder with cheese.
Oh yeah, with cheese.
And even just the mundane aspect of Bruce Willis in the film getting, I guess, kidnapped and coming back, and he's talking with his girlfriend, fiancée, about her breakfast and did she get the blueberry pancakes. It's what really would happen, because at the time when this was made, a lot of films had that more kind of action aspect, or a drama aspect, or a dialogue aspect. They didn't really focus, I guess, on real life dialogue. It was more what fit the story, and whatever wasn't crucial to it was kind of left on the cutting room floor. So I really enjoyed the acting. I mean, this was John Travolta's comeback role of the 90s. He fell off the rails, came back. This is kind of like his Iron Man return film, but yeah, we all know what happened to him after that. So, I mean, even Quinten couldn't save him. Yeah, the story was interesting. It's a bit of a long film. It's over 2.5 hours, but it doesn't feel like 2.5 hours because it's broken up into 7 sections. Christopher Walken is his Walken usual self, It's a 2-minute scene in the film, and I think everybody knows it the second they see him in that suit. It's so iconic. I mean, this film has so many iconic scenes. One actor they don't mention a lot, but I thought was funny was Steve Buscemi as Buddy Holly at the Jumping Jack Rabbit restaurant. That's a quite funny turn back to Reservoir Dogs. And yeah, acting was great, story was great. There's no real complaints, and I think it's really good to see one of these earlier Tarantino films because it's a bit more gritty, it's a bit more raw, and it's a bit more true to himself. Not that his later work, like Inglourious Bastards or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, isn't, but with the lower budgets and I guess the more rawness and earliness of his work, it shows through. So yeah, it's really good.
All right, I'll start the review with the music of the movie. It's fantastic. Ever since I watched this movie, I've always listened to the music. The songs are so good. When I was watching the movie, I was bumping my head all along. I had to do it. I'm sorry if someone was annoyed. Sorry.
Oh, good.
Okay. So Tarantino, for me, he is top 2 for me, the greatest director. Number 1, writer plus director. No one structures movies like him. He has the knack of breaking movies down in different chapters. He done it. I think, was it the first time he broke the movie?
That was, because Reservoir Dogs was
just
a linear, but a one long take kind of film.
Like John mentioned, the story is quite simple. It's nothing more complicated, but it's the way he has presented it. It's amazing. I don't think you can copy. There are other movies with chapters being broken down, but you can't replicate this ever. Okay. When I watched this movie for the first time, so this was before Reddit and YouTube was a thing. So I went on to some internet forum looking what's in the briefcase. And I had multiple answers, like it's gold, is Mia Wallace's foot pick. And there was one that is Marsalis Wallace's soul. And I'm pretty like 99% convinced after today that it is his soul in the briefcase. There are a lot of hints throughout the movie which has been spread, like he has a bandage on back of his head. And so I read it before, so it's maybe the soul was taken out of there. The briefcase opens from number 666. So that kind of makes me think it is the soul because the way everyone looks at the briefcase, it can't be gold. So, and there's not I haven't heard many people talk about, so in the beginning, when the watch scene, the greatest watch scene, the second greatest is from the lighthouse. And so, Samuel L. Jackson says, it was a divine intervention. So, he thinks he needs to stop. John Travolta's character doesn't want to stop. He gets another chance with Mia Wallace's when he goes to this the amazing scene, every scene with her. He doesn't understand. I think this movie has some religious tone, so he doesn't understand. Then the third chance he gets, he gets deaded by Bruce Willis' character. So he had 3 chances, but he didn't understand. So there are a few tones I think I picked up while watching now. And I can't ever fault this movie. This movie is an absolute masterpiece. Yep. So
yeah, just bouncing off what Moon said, most of the characters in this film pretty much stay from the start and the end exactly as they are. So Bruce Willis's character, the Bonnie and Clyde character of Tim Roth and Amanda Plummer, they stay at the start and at the end of the film. They aren't changed people. So the only one that is changed really is Samuel L. Jackson's character, which is quite an interesting turn because the film's broken up and not in a chronological order. You're seeing partway through the film Vincent being killed by Bruce Willis, but then the end, Vincent is still there, but you only piece the whole film together at the very end. So it makes sense why when the boxing stuff happens and they go to see Marcel at the boxing, I guess, room or place, why Samuel L. Jackson isn't in that scene, why it's a guy from the bar earlier on. One character I haven't talked about, my favorite character from the film, Mr. Wolf. He's Harvey Keitel's character, a big part in Quinten Tarantino's early start and getting Reservoir Dogs made. So without him and the other 3, the producer and a couple of his friends from back in the early days of filmmaking, I mean, we would probably never be seeing this film or other films. But the character of the wolf, he's, yet again, not in it for long. It's a short scene, but really well done. He's really calm, really collected. He's the cool guy. He's the me of the film. But yeah, they're just my 2 cents. So yeah.
Yeah. So this movie, I can quote every single dialogue. Like while I was watching the movie, I was like mimicking the dialogue. One of my favorite dialogues, it's not even like that good, but when Bruce Willis, Butch is like at the end taking the chopper and whose chopper is this? She will ask, and he say, it's Zed's, and she'll ask, who's Zed? Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead. I don't know why I love that. And the pawn shop scene is one of the creepiest scenes ever. It is random, but it is so good. That guy who plays the cop and Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs, for some reason, both creeps me out a lot. Whew, I don't want to get sodomized from those guys for sure.
All right, you ready for scores?
Yep.
All right, so we're going to give it out of 10 briefcases. Moon, how many briefcases out of 10?
10 briefcases. That's dead, baby.
John, how many briefcases are you going to give it?
9.75 briefcases out of 10.
And me, first time viewee, definitely a 9.5 out of 10.
You want to see what's inside the briefcase?
Alright guys, make sure to like, share, tell your friends, tell your family, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Ciao.